Hi, everybody. This is Director Boot Camp Y, and our special guest tonight is Christine Monahan, and she is somebody who's gained tremendous amount of respect throughout our communities, and as a coach to help people develop and understand themselves and bring out a brilliant spark within them, and without a reason why you're probably not going to do anything. And the difference between the people that take action, those that don't, are the ones that understand what they want and have been, some of them, coached into taking that thoughts and putting it into action. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you Christine Monahan, a good friend, a good mentor, and take it away, Christine.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much, Dan, for inviting me to be a part of this boot camp this morning. So I'm Christine Monahan, as Dan said, and my bigger why at play in my world is to influence millions of individuals to make just one commitment, and that is to become the #1 curator of your life. What this all comes down to is the commitments you make to grow into the next best version of you or not. So my relevant experience, just to share the content today, is I am radio host of The Prosperous Leader, which is for Karatbars affiliates on Monday mornings, and as well Entrepreneur Conversations. And we've had about 70,000 listeners to date, which is great. I'm owner of Daily Life Mastery, which focuses on helping entrepreneurs create one-page plans to get clear on their why and focus on their commitments. I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs over the past 15 years to help them do just this. And my background is pretty strong in raising millions of dollars in sponsorship and sales for corporations. I had my own event property for 5 years, and as well world-class sporting events such as the Formula One car races and the hydroplane boat races. And I also published a book called Heartbroke, which is about an entrepreneur's journey from near death to possibilities. So there you go. So what I'd like to do today, and my goal in the next 45 minutes for you, is for you to get the following things: that until you place yourself as the #1 priority on your to-do, your dream will be just that, a dream yet lived. That your commitments or lack thereof are what take you out, not your to-dos. That when you get clear on your why statement, your world actually opens up right before you. That your monetary gain is your how, not your why. And that your why precedes your how, which is your monetary gain. And that you need to grow into the person who will be able to experience that bigger why. That monetary gain is super important and the why gets you there. And that 3 measurable, doable commitments every quarter will absolutely net you fresh results. That all leaders need an accountability partner or partners to help them realize their why. And that prosperous leaders focus on self-discovery because they know that that will encourage their team members to lead as they would like to follow. So let's talk a little bit about your to-do list and commitments. And as I've said, it's your commitments or lack thereof that take you out. What I'm about to share may well shift how you approach your daily life from today forward. And I'm not being dramatic about that. It actually can do this. And I'm going to repeat this over and over again. It is your commitments or lack thereof that take you out. It's not your to-do list. A lot of us go, oh my gosh, I've got this huge to-do list. What am I going to do? How am I ever going to get through the to-do list? The to-do list is an ongoing thing. So it's your commitments or lack thereof that actually take you out. One of the most significant hurdles to thriving with ease in life and business is a sense of overwhelm, disorganization, and a never-ending to-do list. What this results in is a lack of focus, mediocre results and marginal fulfillment in one's daily experience. So guess what? It's your commitments that are taking you out, or lack thereof. So once and for all, you need to decide if you intend to become the number one curator of your life. And if you do, that means you need to get your commitments together. So resistance to this usually shows up in the form of boredom, procrastination, worry, fear, or doubt. And this usually takes place when you're ready to transition to your next level of growth as an individual and in business, and you're not sure what step to take. What it requires is for you to step out of your comfort zone and begin to shift your perspective. And that is why we then move into the resistance in the form of doubt, fear, etc. So what I want your takeaways to be today is that you get that the number one curator of your life is you. That your why is your dream yet lived. That when you commit to work on versus in your life, this is where it's at. And that your how and your rewards actually fulfill the commitments, and the commitments actually feed into the why. And that's what I'd love you to take away from today. Once you shift your approach and your perspective, your results will shift from today onwards. Your why statement is like your GPS. It 100% dictates and influences your monetary gain, which is your how. It dictates how you feel, and it dictates what choices you make today to experience your ideal life each day more and more. And so when you get clear on it, you no longer wake up feeling scattered or unfocused or frenetic, because you just simply focus on what your why is, what your commitments are, and the hows that are going to feed into it. And it takes away all the clutter and really literally gives you a clean slate to work from. So the number one curator of your life is you. And this is such a hard thing for so many people to embrace and own. So I want to get one thing clear right from the beginning. It is not selfish to place yourself as the number one priority on your to-do list. In fact, it's actually incredibly inspiring to those you lead as they see you thrive and contribute richly to their lives. They begin to want to emulate how you approach your daily life. And in turn, then those that you're leading will want to do the same. And so what you create is an arm's length automatic system per se, all based on just being clear about what your why is, what your commitments are, and then walking your talk. So why do so many place themselves last on the to-do list every day? I believe there is an epidemic with individuals trying to be everything to everybody. Superwoman and Superman is not where it's at. In the process of being Superwoman or Superman, what we're losing is one of our most power-filled innate resources, and that is our feminine intuition. And we've almost traded it off for more of a masculine way. The masculine and feminine way need to be balanced in order for you to truly show up for yourselves, grow into a leader, a prosperous leader, and be able to motivate and inspire others. So why do people put themselves last on the to-do list? Here are a few more reasons. If we can sidestep and truly decide what our ideal day looks like and feels like, we will actually serve others in a much more remarkable way. And they will pick up on that, and they in turn will want to emulate what you're doing. We actually feel guilty when we are not doing it all or even keeping up to what we've committed to. The question is, who started this charade of Superman and Superwoman in terms of this, never-ending to-do list? You may have had a dream in the past that didn't work. It might not have happened, or it did not turn out as you envisioned. So on some level, you may have made a commitment within to not dream again. And that's an interesting question for you to ask yourselves right here, right now, if you are not where you want to be. You may believe or perceive that you've been disappointed, that you've been heartbroken, or that you've been literally, as you might say, screwed, dreaming big before. So you may have then internally made a commitment not to experience playing big again. And so you have slipped into playing small. Here's the thing. The most successful, prosperous leaders who are prosperous on all levels, they've failed, they've been disappointed over and over again. They've gone bankrupt, they've lost loves, and yes, they have been probably screwed over numerous times. The difference is they keep failing forward towards the experience of the dream yet lived. It has become their way of life to take that perceived negative scenario and use it to fuel them to move forward and to learn what they need to learn and let all the negative part of it go. So a couple of questions for you to ponder as we go through this presentation. Are you living your ideal day more than not now? And if not, why aren't you? You can start to live it in little bits and pieces each and every day. Second question, how will you positively influence others by 100% showing up for you? Think about your family, think about your team members, think about your friends. The more you show up for yourself and the more you're thriving, the more that they are inspired by you, that they are motivated by you, and that they want to emulate you. Nobody wants to emulate someone who's like dragging their heels every day. So if you are wanting to grow into a prosperous leader, then the first thing you need to do is show up for yourself so you can inspire and motivate others. So it's a commitment, and as soon as you make the commitment, everything changes. Okay, so let's talk about your why is your dream yet lived. And I've put a few questions here for you to ponder on this one. Again, I asked the question, do you live your ideal day more often than not? Are you 100% showing up for you daily? Who today is inspired by your greatness? And no matter what else, how do you want to feel today? And do you lead as you would like to follow? And that last one is key when you're building a team. If you've got a team of 3 or 5 or 10 or 50 or 3,000 or 30,000, are you leading as you would like to follow each and every single one of them? And if you're not, you need to stop and pause and take a look at what you need to do in order to correct that. Okay, so what is your why? Your why is the goal or dream that feels out of reach currently, but no matter what else takes place, you are craving to make this happen. Your why is the feeling experience of an ideal day in the life of you. And you should be able to close your eyes and for 5 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, actually create a mind movie of that ideal day. What are you wearing? Where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? The more you choose to feel the experience of the why now, the more circumstances, individuals, and happenings will seem to magically land in your lap, per se. And what this is about is belief that you deserve your why in the first place. When you start living your experiential why now in small ways, it actually creates the elements and the energy for the bigger why to come into your life. It's about the worth that you place on yourself. And I'm going to repeat that a few times because this is all about growing into the next best version of yourself. You want to be able to actually close your eyes, as I said, and spend 10 seconds or 30 seconds or 2 minutes experiencing that why right now, because it does pull this energy towards you and it shifts the decisions you make moment to moment. And that is what moves you towards the why. The question becomes, if not now, when? So here's a few things that I've learned from leaders who are prosperous on all levels. Each day, they focus on their why statement for motivation towards their how, which is their monetary gain. So they actually know what their why statement is. They actually make their decisions from this place each and every day. They absolutely know that their why precedes their how, which is the monetary gain. So they focus on the why versus the how, and that moves them towards receiving the monetary gain much faster, and usually in ways that they can never even imagine, which become just pure fun. They all create quarterly commitments for day-to-day doable results now. They may have a 10-year goal, a 5-year goal, a 1-year goal, but they pull it back into what can I do over the next 3 months in order for me to witness momentum on a day-to-day basis, which is going to inspire me and move me forward. And they're surprised at how quickly then their dreams actually start coming alive. They navigate their perceived hurdles by always returning to their why, reviewing their commitments, and then taking one inspired action step. And I say that again, an inspired action step versus one that's obligatory, to move forward towards supporting their commitments. So this supposed overnight success that people think is out there is actually just a reflection of these consistent single steps to show up for yourself in that which you say you desire. They all have accountability partners to move through their limitations, which show up as hurdles that allow them to grow into the next best version of themselves. When they feel doubt, frustration, overwhelm, or basically any negative emotion that doesn't work for them, they know that they need to figure out what thoughts are keeping them small and preventing them from growing into the next best version of themselves. They get that they are not their thoughts, and they learn as they go along to master that on new levels. So if I'm aware I'm having a negative thought, I can actually shift and replace that thought in the moment. And over time, that thought will no longer reside within me. They know that what takes them out is their commitments or lack thereof. And they absolutely understand the link between walking their talk in their why and inspiring those that follow them to do the same. They know that the best thing that they can do as a prosperous leader who is inspiring a team of leaders is to walk their own talk, be clear about their why, be clear about their commitments, and then in turn help those who are on their team to do the same. Because you got to remember, these people who are on your team, whether it's in Karatbars, whether you've got a business on the side, whether it's your family, they have chosen, well, maybe not family, but everybody else have chosen you as their team leader. And you need to show up for them. And in turn, when you do that, they will actually start to show up in the same way for their team leaders. Okay, so what is all this about? This is all about committing that you are going to be all in now to be the number one curator of your life. And it begins with living and breathing your why statement. You start to make choices each and every moment of the day from the place of moving in towards living your why. And you'd be amazed at what happens, how quickly your choices change and you witness yourself doing very different things. If you were the person you are going to be when you experience your bigger why, you would be that person already, and you would be experiencing that why now. So you need to grow into the person who can experience that why. So the more you focus on you and showing up for you and cultivating you, the sooner you're going to experience that bigger why. So a couple more questions for you to ponder as it relates to this piece. Do you have any idea what your affiliate team members, family members, clients or employees or friends' why statements are? Do you actually know what their why is? And if you do, how are you motivating them towards experiencing and realizing this why each and every day? If all each of us did was find out what the why is with our team members, our friends, our family, and everything we did as it related to interacting with them fed into and helped them discover and realize that, our lives would be a living dream every single day. Here's another question. Have you commitments in place right now to work on your life versus in your life in order to realize your why? And I guess the last question is it time, and are you ready to grow into the next best version of you in order to realize this why? So let's talk a little bit about commitments to work on versus in your life. So commitments are absolutely playful when they originate from the place of fueling your why. Commitments are simply an agreement with yourself to create the life you desire. Commitments are not tasks, and they are not activities for what you will do for others. So a lot of people assume commitments are, well, my commitment is to make 20 calls a day. That is not a commitment. That is a task and an activity. And that task and activity actually feeds into the commitment. But the commitment is about how am I going to work on my life versus in my life. Commitments minimize daily overwhelm, frustration, and doubt. So what happens then is you get to be laser focused in the tasks and activities that will best net the results each and every day. And at the end of 3 months, at the end of a quarter, which is 3 months, you will then look back and go, oh my goodness, I cannot believe what shifted in the 3 months just because I was clear on my commitments. Commitments are measurable, and this is how they work to fuel your why. Lack of commitments take you out. They indicate you're not showing up for yourself. And as a team leader, whether it's your affiliate team, your family team, your friends team, whoever it is, it's not very inspiring to those on your team when you are not showing up for yourself. And people can pick up that in a second. So if you are connecting with people on a cold call or warm call, they will pick up on that in a second. And that is probably the distinction between them deciding to come on board with you or deciding to get involved, period. When you feel a negative emotion, you can be sure that you are compromising yourself in some way. And what this really comes down to is that you are not clear on your commitments, or you are not actually honoring your commitments. So it's a great measurement when you're feeling a negative emotion for you to be able to go back and go, what are my commitments? How am I not honoring my own commitments to myself? Or perhaps your commitments to others. So guess what? Most of us dive into our business venture and life circumstance with, we've got gusto, we've got passion, and this hope for this dream yet lived. What happens is we get taken out because we don't have a clear why statement to focus and navigate daily. So that's our GPS. We don't create quarterly doable commitments to fuel the why. So we're so busy looking to achieve what we're going to achieve in a year or 5 years from now that we get disillusioned, disappointed, and apathy sets in. We misunderstand the commitments for daily activities and tasks. And we don't have an accountability partner or partners to actually measure the progress and help us work through the hurdles so we can grow into the person who can experience this why. And this includes having an accountability partner or partners who actually make you aware of and suggest you celebrate the wins. Because the more you celebrate the wins and you claim them and own them, the more they fuel you moving through the next level of growth and potentially all the hurdles that you're inevitably going to experience as you succeed. And they believe that money is their why. Whereas from my perspective, growing into the next best version of you actually is step number one in actually fueling the why experience. So why is this? From my perspective, most of this is not taught in corporate America. It's changing a little bit, but really corporate America is based largely on revenue targets and assigned tasks for a given responsibility. It's a corporate mindset versus an entrepreneur mindset. And as you move into becoming an entrepreneur and building your affiliate business, you need to shift your mindset from that of someone who is following what a corporate guideline is to someone who is creating how they want their daily life to look and feel and how they want to inspire and motivate those involved with that. So the thing is, as human beings, we need more than a to-do list and a monetary amount to strive for and get it inspired. And we absolutely need more than that in order to move through the daily challenges that will come our way as we move towards this bigger why. You need to retain and maintain this feeling of passionate engagement. And it's not about being like somersaults every day and cartwheels, but it is about knowing your engagement every day is coming from this place of passion that is fueling this why. The motivation needs to be present to move through the hurdles in order to receive the monetary gain you say you want. But it is useless without knowing what your why is. So the good news is there's a very simple formula in order for you to create this and in turn teach and lead your own teams. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes. But for now, I just want you to know that there's a very simple formula. And once you learn it, you can apply it to each and every part of your life. You can teach it to your kids. You can teach it to your family. You can teach it to your team leaders. And it becomes a really fun, simple way to live your life. And it really takes most of the struggle out of the day-to-day. Okay, so what I want to talk a little bit about is rewards to fuel your why. So in front of you here is my $80,000 reward. And the painting isn't worth $80,000, but here's the story. I'm a huge proponent of rewards, period. And I try and make luxurious choices each and every day. And what I mean by luxurious choices is I will stop for 45 minutes and have a really good lunch without the phone, without the laptop, without anything going. I might sit on the deck in the summer and read a book, or I'll go putter in the garden, or I'll take a walk. I literally feed myself a luxurious choice in order to live the life that I feel I want to experience right now in small ways. So the more you attach rewards to your doable accomplishments or commitments, the more inspired you will be to move towards your bigger why. Your rewards can be simple as fresh cut flowers on your desk. They could be dinner out with your favorite pal. It could be a body of enriching organic body lotion. It could be a day out or half a day that you take off and you go, I'm going to go to yoga, brunch in the bookstore. It could be a bubble bath with candles, or just a really nice glass of wine at the end of the week when you have achieved what you set out to achieve. And the results are immeasurable when you celebrate those things that you actually have achieved. So my goal might be that, I want to get on the spin bike 4 times a week for 40 minutes. And my reward might be, well, I'm going to buy myself a $50 bottle of really good wine on Friday night, and I'm going to have a glass of that. So that inspires me the next week to get back on the bike, and I get to celebrate it. And you cannot underestimate the value and the power in that. So an example of this is this painting in front of us. So when I had my own event property, I went to Toronto which is where all the head office was in Canada for most of the corporations. And I was going to meet with Discovery Health Channel, Ethical Funds, which was a huge financial company, Chatelaine Magazine, largest magazine in Canada, a whole bunch of different companies. And I had seen this painting in the window before I left. And I said, well, I'm going to go in there. It was, I think, $1,000 at that point, which was, 10, 15 years ago. So I didn't have $1,000 extra to spend at that point, but I went in there and I put $50 down. And my goal to myself was, if I came back with more than $80,000 in sponsorship, that I would go back in and I would buy that painting. So off I went to Toronto, and I got my Discovery Health Channel sponsorship. I got my Chatelaine sponsorship, and I got my I think it was the Ethical Fund sponsorship, and came back with more than $80,000 in sponsorship. And then went into the art gallery store and set up a payment plan and purchased my lovely monk painting, which I still have to today. And every time I look at that painting, it reminds me of having set out a goal, accomplishing it, and rewarding myself. And I have all sorts of material rewards like that. And, you know, materialism isn't everything, but I'll tell you, on days when I'm feeling less than on top of things, and I look at that monk painting, it gives me that extra little nudge to go, just take one more step today. And that's really what the analogy is about on this, is you want to motivate yourself by rewarding yourself when you do that. Okay, if not now, when? And this is one of my commitment cards. Liberation within is my vision. And I've got 11 commitment cards, and I love this one because liberation within is your vision. So the more you get clear on your why, the more you create liberation within. So I'd like to share a few key habits of remarkable individuals, and then I want to wrap it up so we have some time for questions and answers or clarification. Remarkable habits that I have witnessed in prosperous leaders who continually blow through their old stories and limitations to experience new desired whys are: they absolutely get comfortable being uncomfortable. Knowing each time they're feeling uncomfortable, it means they're growing into the next best version of self, which is going to fuel their why. They learn to master their thoughts. They know they are not their thoughts. They all commit 100% to be all in as the number one curator of their life, knowing it's not selfish, but rather it's inspiring to those they will influence as a result. They get that happiness is a choice, and they choose to be happy no matter what. This allows them to experience the bigger why in small pieces today, which then makes it materialize that much faster. And the fact is then they're not waiting for some elusive future in order to enjoy their life. They start living and enjoying their life today. They get that happiness is a choice. They get that happiness is a choice. I want to say that over and over and over again. It is a choice. And it took me a while to figure that out. And then when I figured it out, even though I was always optimistic, it's like, oh my gosh, I can choose to be happy, even if there's a whole bunch of stuff going on around me. They get the link between monetary gain and self-discovery. And so they ask and learn about parts of themselves that need strengthening. And they get that perfection is boring, so they get super organized. They surround themselves by people who will inspire them, and they create a very simple plan, and they focus on that every day. And then they detach from the outcome and let it all unfold the way it's supposed to, knowing they've done their due diligence. So you have a dream for yourself today of something that is in the future. If not now, when do you choose to commit to be all in to become the number one curator of your life? When did you last make a commitment to you that was 100% about growing into the next best version of you? And are you ready to invest in you to create a why statement to move you towards experiencing your why in little bits or even big bits each and every day starting now? And lastly, I'm going to ask you this question. Are you ready to believe in this dream yet lived? Because the innate belief really is something that, all things being equal, is one of the most power-filled sentiments that you can possibly cultivate within. Okay, and I know I've gone through a lot of information here. Your one-page why commitment plan. So if you're ready to truly live your bigger why each day now and inspire your team members to grow into prosperous leaders, then you may want to consider the Quarterly Commitments Program. Basically, what I will do in this program, it's a 3-month program. I will help you co-create a one-page plan so you can work on versus in your business. I will help you come up with 3 commitments to work on your business versus in your business. We will come up with 4 to 5 hows that fuel the commitments, and then we will come up with 3 rewards in order for you to celebrate each month. And basically, it's a combination of me sending you self-discovery information. You create a draft of a one-page plan. You send it to me. I revise it, tweak it. We have one-on-one sessions to make sure it's clear and it's exactly what you want it to be. And then we have follow-up sessions throughout the 3 months for you to check in and celebrate your wins and to work through your hurdles. And as well, then you get unlimited Skyping within reason. So it's unlimited, but it's within reason. So if you want to learn more about it, you can just go to dailylifemastery.com/QC. Okay, so last thing I just want to say to you is, if you take nothing else away from our time together, I want you to begin to believe in the power of feeling the experience of your desired dream or goal each and every day. Allow yourself 10 seconds to close your eyes and imagine yourself living the ideal day in the life of you. And do this as many times as possible. It absolutely works. My life is absolutely an example of this, and I feel like I'm just getting started. So I'd love to share in the individual and collective experience of these dreams and goals yet lived actually being realized. And thank you so much for listening and engaging in what I've had to share here. So Dan, back to you, and I'd love to answer any questions or provide clarification or receive any feedback that that anybody wants to give.
Okay, what I think I'm going to do to preserve this, I think I'm going to stop the recording and then we can answer questions, okay?
Perfect.
Okay.